Hey everybody, PattyAnne here. Welcome back for take 3. So last week, I had an issue with YouTube. This week, it's been my own internet connection. So I'm just going to record this regular like and just upload it to YouTube and be done with this and not try to go live today because it's just not working out for me. So again, thanks for joining me back again, and I'm going to show you beginners, especially from start to finish, how to make a really cute shirt for my Jean Frieda challenge. And as you know, Jean Frieda is my little baby sister, and it's going to be a really cute shirt. So I hope you'll stay tuned. So follow me down to my desktop, my computer screen, and let's check it out and see what we're going to work on. Okay, so this is what we're going to work on today. And what I've done is I've gotten a square right here, and I made this square 10 inches wide because that's how wide I want my image to be for my shirt that I'm going to be making. Okay, so let me show you down here what I'm talking about. So let's scroll down to this camera now. And this is the shirt I'm going to be using. It's a brand new Gildan shirt. I just took this label off of it. And I measured it with my measuring tape to see how big I wanted to make my design. Notice I already have the T-pad in here. I love using these pads, as I said before, because they really help make the pressure when you use your heat press or your regular heat press, or easy press or regular heat press. Makes it work really well, and you don't have to worry about these seams. If you happen to want to get one of these sets, it's really terrific because not only in the set do you get this size of the T-pad, you get this one that's perfect for a kid's t-shirt or even an adult one. You get this one that's nice for a little tiny thing on a baby onesie. You get this one that's perfect if you want to put something on a pocket. And then you get this one that fits in a pocket, and this one goes right into a sleeve. So it works perfectly like that. Okay? So I've got the largest one in there. It's about this big. It's already in there, and it fits perfectly. So let's go back up to my computer screen and see what we're going to do. All right. So I don't know if you just heard just now, but my sister was calling in. Okay. Here we are back at my screen, and this is the box I'm going to use. Now this morning when I started looking at this, because it's my Jean Frieda challenge for the week, I came up with this, and I sent it to Jean. Let me move the box out of the way for now. And I said, how do you like that? And she said it was okay, but I said, well, do you like this one better then? Let me bring this one over, this one. And she said, yes, I do like that one better, but I think maybe I would like it even better if you made this a capital B instead of a lowercase b, and you made this L a capital L instead of lowercase. So let's get rid of this one because she said a no to that one. This one's going down because it's not the right one. And I came up with this one. And she said not only make the capital letters here and here, but also add a shamrock. So you can probably see now why I like Jean Frieda to help me with my projects, because I started out like this. Okay, my shirt probably would have looked just like this, but with Jean Frieda's help, she had me make it just like this, which I think looks a lot better. And hey, I can give this to you. Maybe I'll have to double check because I'm using a... Okay, so let me show you what I did with this now. If you look down here again, you'll see what I like to do. So when I'm getting ready to do my shirt, sometimes if it's something brand new for me and I'm not sure, like I haven't done a V-neck in a long time, I like to print out my sentiment and my picture or whatever on a piece of paper first to see how I'll like it. So this is the one we decided we didn't like with the Arial text here and here. So I got rid of that one. The next one I tried was the same one with the Arial text. Now you can't really see, but it does say Simply Blessed here. But I don't think that one's quite big enough. So the last one I tried then was this one. And this is the one that's the keeper. Now I didn't have to cut, print this out on paper with colors. I could have just used black and white and done a draft cut or print so it didn't use very much ink at all. But I really like doing this. So I have already done one like this just to make sure that it was going to work right, because I was supposed to do this live, as you know, and I wanted a backup just in case. But since I said I'm going to show you from start to finish how to do this, I am going to do that. So I'm going to do another one of these. So let's see. Let's go back up to my screen up here. Let me get rid of the things on the left because we no longer need those. I'll just delete them. This is the one we're going to copy. I'm going to copy my own. And this was the box, so I know how big to make it. See how it fits in there nicely? Okay. So the first thing that I did was, let me get this back to where it would be. Okay. I came over here to the left-hand side where the text tool is, and I clicked on that, and I typed in "not lucky." And as you can see, it's coming in as Arial font and not the font that I want. The font that I like to use, and I've told you guys this a lot, and I highly recommend you get it if you don't have it. It's not free, but you'll use it a lot. Okay, anyway, I'm going to change this, and the font that I'm talking about, I'm going to highlight this, come over here to the right-hand side where it says Text Style Panel, and I'm going to change my text to Samantha Craft. And now, as you know, in Silhouette, these things are in alphabetical order. I'm moving one of my iPads out of the way that I no longer need since I'm not live. So, since these are in alphabetical order, I'll just go down here to Samantha Craft. Now, there were some other Samantha fonts that came out earlier, Samantha Italic, Samantha Upright, but now for our cutting machines, I highly recommend Samantha Craft. And the reason being is the font is just a little bit thicker so that when you go to cut it, you don't have tiny little skinny twirly-whirlies. You have nice sized ones. So I'm going to click on Samantha Craft, and that changed it perfectly just like that. So I can resize it if I want to. And what I'll probably do, since I already have this one done, is just make it the same size as that one by going over top of it over here. Okay, just like this. And I can just stretch this one so that it's the same size like that. Okay, so it looks like that'll work perfectly. But notice this. The L that I've used right here for Lucky is a lot prettier than this one. Well, in this font, and if you're using Silhouette software, you can easily change this by getting one of the glyphs. So what I do is I double click on this so I'm back in the text editing mode. I can highlight the L, and then all I have to do is simply come back over here to the text style panel and click on that, and then make sure that I still have Samantha Craft font right here. And then I'm going to come up here to the letter G. That stands for glyphs. That's going to show me all of the little glyphs that are available to me in Samantha font, Samantha Craft font. So I'll click on that, and that shows everything that's available to us. So just for quickly, let me scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see that there's some nice fancy little twirlies that are available to us here, right? All kind of fun things that you can use. It's another one of the reasons why I recommend this font. And by the way, if you can't see these well enough, there's this little slider down here. You can click it and make them larger. And then when you highlight over them or hover over them, they even become larger. But what I'm looking for right now is the capital L that I like. But look at some of these. So I'm going to go way back up here. There are two different places where the capital letters are. Let's go back up to the top. Okay, so when we start out, here are the capital letters. Oops, where'd they go? Right here. And these are the ones that were already used. There's the L that's being used. I don't like that one. I think it's kind of ugly. So if I scroll down, I'll get to the lowercase letters. And then some of these other things. I'll start getting to the fancier capital letters. So I'm going to go until I get to them. And I don't really have to use this mouse. Okay, there it is. Isn't that a prettier L? So all I have to do while this one is highlighted is to click on this pretty one and it will be substituted in. Look at that, just like that. So not only are there prettier uppercase letters or capital letters, if you scroll way down here, way down, whoopsie, let me get down here. You'll get to prettier lowercase letters as well. Look at the E's, look at those G's. I'm not going to change my Y though, but look at these pretty letters. So I'm just going to leave mine like that for now. And what I will do is I'll just go ahead and grab it all and weld it. Right click and weld. And then I'll also group it. And one last thing I'll do just so it looks pretty, just like my shirt's going to look, I'm going to make it the green color. So there's Not Lucky. And then I'm going to write down the word simply. So I'll come back over here again to the capital A, which is for text. Click here and type in the word simply. And again, it came in as Arial font, but that's not what I want. So I'll come back over here to the text style panel, click on that, and change it. Now up here it says frequently used, and if you go down beyond that it says recently used. So I've recently used Samantha Craft. So I'll click on that and it changed it automatically just like that. So again, what I can do is I can stretch this out and I can make it whatever size I like, or since I've already tested it, I'll just go ahead and make it the size of this. Now, maybe you can notice I must have stretched it from side to side as well. So let me stretch this a bit, see if we can kind of get this to match up. Okay, that's matching pretty well. Let's see, there we go. That's really looking good. The only difference is, as you can probably tell, the S. Look how pretty this S is over here on the left, and this one's rather plain. So again, what I can do is I can highlight this S, and with Samantha Craft still selected over here in the text style panel, I just simply click on this G for glyphs. And again, I'm getting all these fancy glyphs that are in here. And we know I'm going to have to scroll pretty far down here past the regular S's or the regular capital letters till I get to these fancier ones. Like, look at that pretty D. Look at that one. That's why I like this font so much. But I'm going to go to the S's. And I'm going to change this to a pretty S. QR, S's should be coming up next. Okay, here's some S's. And which one did I use? I did not use that one. I didn't use that one. Which one did I use? Well, I'm just going to use this one. Not Lucky, simply. And I'll type in the word. Well, let me move this. Let me grab all of these and right click and say weld and group and change their color to the green. Okay. Not Lucky, simply. Then I'll write the word blessed, and I really don't need this box anymore since I'm just lining it up with these over here. So I'll get rid of the box. But that's what I would do, is I would have this box here and make sure that stuff's pretty much fitting within the box, because that's how much space I wanted to use on my shirt. Okay, so I'll just delete that. So now I'll do the word blessed. So I'll click over there, just type in the word blessed. Again, it comes in as Arial font. Gonna come over here and change it to Samantha. Oops, I didn't have the whole thing selected. Select the whole thing. And change that all to Samantha Craft. And again, we have not a beautiful bee. I bet I can find a prettier bee. So let's do that first. I'll double click on this, highlight that bee, come over here. Samantha Craft is still selected. Click on the glyphs, scroll down, and get the prettier bee. Okay, let's see. Did I use that one? No. Okay, I'm going to use, wow, look at some of these are beautiful. That one. Okay. So I'm going to grab all this then, bring it up here, and I'll line up the L. And I'll make the L the same size as the other L. Okay, that's getting close, but it looks like it needs to be fatter. All right, almost. So I'm only doing this because I've already done it and I like the way it looked. So there we go, simply blessed. Not lucky, simply blessed. So I could click on all of this, right click on it and weld. You'll want to weld it. If you're working in Cricut Design Space, you have to weld it. Actually, if you're doing this in Silhouette, you do not have to weld these things. This program automatically welds these letters together where they won't cut like this if you say cut edge. But since you're used to doing it in Cricut Design Space, we'll just right click on this and say weld. And then we do have to go ahead and right click and say group as well. And of course, I will go ahead and color it too. All right, not lucky, simply blessed. Okay, the only other thing that I did was I went ahead and got a shamrock. I found one online, so if you follow me here to shamrocks, I found one. Any one of these will work. Just type in shamrock, click on it. All you need to do is say right click on it, save image, or copy image, copy image, and then go back to Silhouette and say right click and paste. Now I have my little shamrock, but notice it has a white box behind it. I don't really want that, so I am just going to go ahead and trace it by coming over here to this piece. It looks like the piece of toast that says trace. Select the trace area, trace, and then I'm probably, let's see, let's scroll in and see how this looks. Okay, there's a little bit of extra junk that's showing up here, and here that I'll get rid of when I'm done. But I'm going to say select and detach. So then I have this little green guy and actually got rid of that, so delete. And now I can just go back up here and put this into place like that. And I see that I rotated mine so it was kind of curving in to the scene. So I can right click on this and say flip horizontally, and that made it so it was facing the correct way. And then what I'd probably do is make sure that everything is colored the exact same color and group it all, and I'm ready to go, just like that. So this one I'd move out of the way. Now to use this in my Cameo, which I'm going to show you now, I will just say send, and hopefully with my internet not working, I'll be able to have this to work. Ordinarily it would come in a lot of times as with this highlighted as cut, and it's going to cut everything, but that's okay with this because we do want all of these things to cut out, or we could say cut edge, either one. I know that on the vinyl that I'm using, and the type of vinyl that I'm using is Caesar Easy Weed, and I know my settings for that I've changed to auto cut. And by the way, sometimes some people say theirs comes in and it says there's no make sure that you fill these out, because sometimes it gets confusing if you don't have these filled out, and it says that there's nothing that shows up that will work with your Cameo machine. That's because you need to make sure that you've changed this to auto cut and the tool, turned on the tool to whatever type tool you're using. I'm using the auto blade, and I'll just change it like this, and I change my cut depth to a 4, my force to 25, and my speed to 3. And the only reason why I know that is because I did a test. I tell you guys time and time again to do a test. Here's the test. All right? But before I go ahead and make this, I need to do one more thing, and that is to go back to the design area, right-click, and say flip horizontal, because I like to do my mirroring here before I send it. And now actually I'm going to show you how you do this, the test, in case you're wondering. So let me get my mat out here. Okay, excuse all this mess over here. Here's my mat. It's a pretty new mat. I have my vinyl, like I said, that it's Caesar Easy Weed that I bought from Brilliant Vinyl. Links for all this stuff down below. But you put your shiny side down on your mat, always, always, always. If you're using heat transfer vinyl or iron-on vinyl, shiny side down on your mat. Put that down. Okay, I like to use my little squeegee right here because I want to make sure that this is on here properly. And that's good like that. And now I'm going to put this in my machine like this. And now I'm going to show you how to do a test cut and what that means. So look back up here at my computer screen. And I'm just going to go ahead and say test here. So my machine is automatically testing using those settings that I had. And I can show you now what's happening here. I'll take that out. And now if you can see, maybe, I have a test here. It made a square. And look how nicely that came off perfectly. And inside of the square, there's a triangle. And the other thing I like to do is make sure that it hasn't cut through the carrier sheet. It's still there. It's perfect. It has not. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in here because it's ready to go. I tested it. That worked perfectly. Had that not worked perfectly, I would have used manually moved this over to the right so that my next test would be right here. And the way I would have done that was by hitting these little buttons here that moves the head of the cutter over. Okay? So now I'm just going to go ahead and hit send because it's perfect. And I want to show you something up here. I hit send and it said send mirrored or send as is. I've already mirrored it. And if I hadn't, I would just X that out and go back and mirror it myself. I like to mirror it myself. I don't want the machine to do it. So right now, since it's already mirrored, I'll say send as is. And now it's going to start cutting right like that. Okay, this is ready to be weeded now. And I will put my protective sheet back on this shiny side down. Keep it safe. And I'll start weeding this. The easiest way is to just start right here where your test was. And as I said, this is called Caesar Easy Weed. And it truly is easy to weed. I will barely need a pick or a weeding tool. So I just need to get the inside of some of these letters. Okay, there we are. Don't think I missed anything. Nope. Perfect. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up my heat press and move my cameo back a little bit. Heat up my heat press, turn it on. And as you know, the first thing I want to do with this, let me move this over a little bit, is to heat this up because I want to get make sure the wrinkles are all out of it, and I want to make sure that any moisture that's in it is gone. You know, I noticed there's one thing I did forget, and that's that little part in there of the bee. So let me get that out while we're waiting. There we go. So I don't want to put this on yet. Waiting for this to heat up, and I'll press the wrinkles out. Okay, so now it's warmed up pretty well, and I can go ahead and press it. Next thing I'm going to do is just figure out where I want to put this. Probably about right there. Just kind of looking, kind of eyeballing it. Looks good. So I'm going to do this at 305 degrees for about 15 seconds. And that's according to the chart that I have, that I've gotten when I looked up Caesar Easy Wheat. Okay, it's ready. So I'm going to do it for 15 seconds on this side. And this is either a hot or a cold peel. Okay, and now I'll do it on this side. And again, this pad is making it so that this little neckline here doesn't alter the pressure that it's getting. Okay, so that should be good, just like that. So like I said, it says it's either a cold or a hot peel. So So I can just go ahead and take this right off of here. But, haha, I must not have gotten that enough. So again, I'll come over here again. And get this side again. I may not have gotten up there at the shamrock. Okay. So now I can just peel this right off. And now I like to use the Teflon sheet to go over it a little bit more. Okay, there we go, looks great. Okay, then as you know, the other thing we're supposed to do according to our easy presses is to turn it the opposite way and do it again. So I'll put my pad down that I had inside because I don't need to worry so much anymore about that. And kind of figure out where my thing is, my image. Okay. And just go back here and press it from the back. And that should be it. Check it out. Looks really pretty. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. I hope you can see it well. Not lucky, simply blessed. Okay, the last little tip I wanted to give you, like I said, was this. If you have a a silhouette mat that's lost a lot of its stick, you can take it, if there's enough stick to it, put these sheets on it that were the backing for your HTV. Now this is not sticky enough, so what I would do is I'd use something like this, the Sulky KK2000 adhesive spray, and spray it on the back outside probably, like that. And then hook this on here, like that. And then I had the other piece as well, but I have it on the back of this piece here to be ironed onto something. But now this has given me a brand new mat by sticking this onto that mat. I'd have to squeegee it on to make sure it's going to stick, but that's what I've been using for quite a long time. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial from start to finish, and you go ahead and make yourself one of these. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.